when that is the first time I have seen Hitesh there in the Global Congress of Spiritual Scientists meet. And afterwards, this is our second meet, I guess. We have never crossed again. So Hitesh is very he's been spiritual from long time, and Shubhangi has been into meditation from since her childhood. And Hitesh had written this wonderful book. I would like to show you all. This is Sundaram Speaks, and this book is so enlightening for me, and it helped many others. And today Hitesh and Shubhangi will be guiding us or taking us on a date to our egos and let go of our egos, and to ego and to let go of the no ego. And I would like to share what a little more description about Hitesh and Shubhangi. They have sent it. Shubhangi is a mind body spirit connection coach for a decade now. Meditation entered her life at a very young age through initiation by her grandfather. And Hitesh, as I told you, he's written this wonderful book, which is Sundaram Speaks. And the book which transformed Hitesh is the autobiography of a yogi. And together they have been doing these wonderful workshops across the world. They have been doing it in India mainly, and soon they will be coming to Germany and many other parts. And we missed Hitesh and Shubhangi in Egypt, but this time we will not miss them, having here in Germany. Yeah. So yeah, this is what is about Hitesh and Shubhangi. I welcome you, Hitesh and Shubhangi. Thank you for being here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for having
So,
us.
yeah, thank you. Now the stage is all yours, Hitesh and Chumangi. Yeah.
Namaste, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for joining us here, and thank you for having us here. Because uh, gratitude is flowing both ways, and learning is always two ways. It's not just that we are here to just share. We are definitely here to receive from each one of you. Right? And we share in many ways. We don't have to really think what are we going to share and what do I have to share. But it's just that when we are aligned in our body, mind, and spirit, we are naturally in the space of sharing. Okay. So we utilize this sacred space which has been created by Madhu and Ram, for each one of us to come forward and use it for our own evolution. Right? So I'm so glad. Thank you so much, Madhu and Ram, for giving us this opportunity. And so, friends, today's topic that we've chosen for meditation and a little bit of discussion is based on ego, right? Because what is happening is that nowadays, when you see that you are locked up, there is a situation of lockdown which is happening in many countries, and we all are locked up, at our home with our friends, with our family members, and not able to move out. Then often our ego shows up, in what I would say is it's very often it shows up, and then there are conflicts, you know, showing up which want us to work, but at the same time when we want ourselves to work, there is this big ego that comes in front of us and that says, why should I be working on it? Why can't the other person take the charge and work? Why am I, doing this all the time? Why me? So today, this platform, Shubhangi and I, we will share a little bit about ego through our understanding so that we have a better way to identify ego, because it's very important that we identify ego in our normal life, regular routine. And second, then we take you through a meditation wherein we try dropping the layers of this ego. Right? So that's how we planned this session for you. Uh, so let me speak to you about a small story, And this story is about a great scholar, a scholar scientist, who did an amazing work, and he created a clone, basically a replica of his own self. He created, something where through which he could create a replica of his own self, and that experiment became really successful. Then further, what he did was he tried doing this experiment multiple times so that there are multiple replicas, and that's what he did. And there came a time when he was about to die. The angel of death came in, and it says, hey, look, your time is over now. You have to come with me, and let's go back home. But this scholar really didn't want to go and wanted to actually make, confuse, actually baffle death, thinking, that he can actually do it. So what he does is that he creates these multiple replicas based on this antidote that he had created. And when death comes and it sees multiple people standing with same body, same nose, same shape and same face, and death gets completely baffled, and it says, oh my God, how am I going to identify the real person? And then death, the angel of death, takes a small pause and it tries to play a trick. And then what it says is, gentlemen, I can see that you have done something amazing, some wonderful work that you've done by creating all these replicas for yourself. But there is this small mistake that I can identify, which I would really like to share. And just by listening this, the original person who was standing in the group of all these replicas stepped out and it said, where is that fault? Can you share that with me? And you all know what happened then. That said, got you. And that is how this person is over. So, friend, this story tells a lot about what is happening to all of us in our regularity. Most of the times, we all fall a prey to our own pride, our false pride. And we try to, coat it, double coat it, and try to keep it intact in such a way that nobody can actually touch. We become so fragile that we take it too hard or personally on ourselves when somebody hits on our ego, when somebody tries to criticize us. So this is one of the faces of ego. To define ego, obviously there are many faces of ego which we are going to speak, while we go through this journey. But yes, to actually give a definition to what is ego. Ego is basically, in our Hindu scriptures we call it ahankar. That means there is this feeling of separation, and that says that, oh, I am better than you. The what we consider to be truth, and that part which separates us, is basically creating ego. And usually in our own journey of evolution, if you see, what happened when we were a part of the source, we were all one. There was no existence of ego. Right? And as we begin to come down from all the layers, from all the lokas, from Satyaloka, Tapaloka, all those realms of, like, the the supracausal and the causal world, and then coming to the astral world. What happens is, the more we come down to the earthly realm, the ego begins to build up. It starts to show up, because in this real world wherein we are into this earthly realm, we have somewhere forgotten that we are one. Now, intellectually, we all know that we all are one, right? But how many of us do we actually practice it, right? So, what is it? It means that somewhere we have forgotten our truth. And our journey is to realize this truth again. Only when we realize this truth again, then we can realize in this body that yes, even if I'm separated, even if I'm different from Shubhangi, even if I'm separate and unique in my own ways, yet we are one. The force that runs me runs in you, runs in everybody. So that part of our own understanding, I would say, which stops us to see perfection in everything. For example, uh, I remember there was this small story. So I'll keep sharing stories because stories help us to identify with the situations. And there was this traveler, who had who was traveling from one village to another, and in between he wanted to take a rest. So he found out this nice garden, and he goes to that garden and finds a shady tree to rest under it, and then he gets into the rest, and he was lying straight, and the moment he looks upward, the shade of the tree is right up on him, and he notices that it is a walnut tree. So fair enough, he noted that, and then he took one of the sides, and he noticed that on one of those sides there was this shrub, and that shrub belonged to pumpkins. There was pumpkin shrub. So immediately something struck to his mind. He said, "Such a big fruit is touching the ground, and such a small, fruit is right up on the tree." And then he said, "God, you are so imperfect, and your creation is so, I mean, you don't have really reason to give. Why is that so? So unfair of you." And the moment he said that, there came a walnut from the tree and hit him right up here on the head. And he says, "Thank God it was not pumpkin." You see, most of the times we miss to see perfection in the way the things are. And why do we do that? Because our way of seeing is basically connected to the separation. And which is what, when we are not able to see the perfection in the entire existence, it is the act of our ego. Now, I don't say that ego is bad, because everything is a part of the existence. Only when you understand thirst, you will be able to enjoy, relish, you know, clear water. Only when you taste hate, you will be able to understand what is love. So only when you understand ego, you will be able to transcend and move into the zone of knowing, right? And which is why this world has a lot of, it has polarities. Right? On one side you have richness, on the other side you have poverty. Why? Because it helps us to generate compassion. It helps us to learn from both the worlds equally. And that is what the purpose of ego is. Initially, we learn from it by seeing that how hollow and illusionary it is, and then eventually we get into the zone of oneness. So, like Shubhangi also to share, and then we move forward.
Yes. So it's a small word, ego, just 3 words we can see, but it has a very important impact on our own life. So basically, ego is, if we divide this word ego, it means eliminating the God out, right? The essence, we can call it all that is, or the source, the essence. When we eliminate our essence, the true essence from ourselves, we go into the zone of ego. And ego has different faces. And how can we get to know about the ego, that we are operating through ego? So there is 5 C's. So I'm going to share about these 5 C's. So the first C is comparison. So when we compare everything which is around us, we compare ourselves with other people. We compare why we don't have the thing that my friend have, right? why we don't have a good home, why that person is richer than us. Continuously, we are comparing ourselves with our family members, with our siblings, with our spouse. We are continuously in our head, we are comparing us. So that's the first C that we go into when we are in ego self. And second C is criticism. When we criticize, so, for example, there is a black hole on a big white wall. So, when you enter in the room, your focus is on that black hole, the tiny black hole. And you criticize why there is a black hole, black color hole on the wall. So, this shows that we criticize everything, whatever we see. So we don't focus on the beautiful things that we have. We don't acknowledge the white wall that is, but we just focus on that tiny black hole on that wall is. So our focus is always on criticizing. We criticize people because we want to be a right person, that our thinking is right. We criticize other people, that you have this fault in you, you have this hole in you, so that people can understand, oh, I also have it. So we criticize people and everything. And then comes the 3C is the conflict. So we continuously conflicting between our thoughts also, the tiny thoughts that we have in our mind. We are conflicting between the two thoughts, that whether I have to choose this or not. So there is this fear energy also, and the love-based energy, love-based emotions also. So continuously there is a fight between all these thoughts or the people, or in a if we can take a bigger consciousness like a country also. So everybody is just fighting and telling this, we are right and you are wrong. So ego is, as Hitesh said, separate us. Ego is a wall which separate us between the two people, or they separate us from our true essence, the true potential that we have. So it is again telling us that you are unworthy. You can't do this. How can you do this? When I was a child, when I was child also, when I think that when I want to do this spiritual work, always there is a back thought in me, how can I do this? I can't do this. How can I do a spiritual work? How can I teach people? So this is ego, which is continuously telling me that you are unworthy, you can't do this, you don't have that essence or the energy to share with people. So that separates us, always separates us. So that's the conflict which is continuously going within all of us. And then comes the third C's. The fourth C is conditioned. We always condition. As a child also, if we see, we are always conditioned by our parents, by our social norms, social conditioning, by our religion also. We are conditioned that you have to be religious. If you are a Hindu, you have to follow just the Hinduism. You don't have to follow the Christianity. But in every yugas, the avatars, everybody is telling us that we all are one. We are not separate. Every divine religion is telling you the same truth, but just that in a different technique or different words. But we say it, no, it is conditioned. I am conditioned to my country. I'm loyal to my country. I'm loyal to my religion. I'm loyal to my custom. So there is so much of condition that we went through during the childhood also. And still we are taking ahead. Till our last breath, we are conditioned. We are conditioned with everything. It's like we are locked up in our own walls. We need to shatter these walls that we have already created in us. So that is the condition part. So we need to decondition whatever we have conditioned in ourselves, the beliefs, the thoughts, everything we have conditioned ourselves. So limiting beliefs that limit us, that that is holding us from moving ahead. We need to decondition everything. So that's the fourth C. And the last C is called
complaints.
Yeah, complaints. We complain all the time. We are complaining. Why this is happening to me? Why me always? Why people don't understand my pain? Why I have to go through what I'm going through in my life? So always in a complaint mode. Why me? Blame mode. So everything is happening outside. My focus is outside because I feel that people are operating my life. So I'm not taking the responsibility of my life because everything is happening. It's because of other people. If I'm not happy, it's because of maybe Hitesh. If I'm not unsad, it's because of my mother-in-law. So everything is like complaint. I'm always in a complaint mode. As Hitesh shared about the story, the complaint that, oh, the universe, how he's created this unfair universe, why the tiny fruit is on the tree and why the big fruit is on the floor. So it is always complaining. Our human behavior is always like that. We complain whatever we have because we need to focus our whatever we are going through. We need to give somebody is the blame that you are the faulter. I am not the faulter. So these are the 5 C's that we need to think about. Are we operating through these C's? If we are, we need to let go of these C's and we need to come into the non-ego part.
So it means the 5 C's. It's complaints, it's conflicts, it's comparison, it's criticism, and it's conditioning. Right?
Yes.
So it's good to know these conditionings, because when we try to put our life on the the parameters of these 5 C's, we would be able to understand that what element, what total composition of our life or our day is going into the ego. And then eventually we can try to work and mellow our our composition under these heads and change our ways. That's what we can do. And ego is also really subtle in nature. So there is this one part wherein we say that ego separates us, but real ego is really subtle in nature, and it's like the layers of an onion. From the outside you cannot see what is there in the fifth layer, and that is the subtle ego. So for example, if I were to tell you some different types of ego, how ego plays in your life. For example, this pleaser ego that wants to please everybody, and wants to give appreciations and a lot of positive things to, somebody, and wants to please so that you say good words about me. It's a pleaser ego. And the next one is, as Shubhangi said, that criticism, which means a judgment ego. So it tries to have judgment about everything. This is not right. It should have been done like this. And, you do it like this and you do it like that. And the next one is money ego. Oh, I have more than you. And usually this ego comes between neighbors, between brothers. Oh, how come you have a big car than me? Probably I should go right now and get another car. So that is what it does. And the fourth one is power ego. I am superior than you. My power speaks more, than where you are. When we try to lead people, dominate people, control people with our power, that is what power ego is. Right? And most of the times what we see in the, in the bureaucratic system, in the political system, people are led by the power. And but somewhere we've forgotten the right meaning of the power. Real power always brings humility. They make people humble. So people who are extremely powerful, At the same time, they are humble also. That is what the real power is, which means that you don't lead people by, the stature or the position that you are sitting at. You are actually leading people by your own example, by the humility and compassion that you carry for all of them, right? And very subtle and of all is also spiritual ego, wherein we say, oh, I have been meditating from good 15 years. I am a senior, you are a junior. Know that in this journey of evolution, there is no senior junior. Once you have picked up the journey of meditation, we all are same. Be it a grandmaster, be it a beginner, we all are same. We are considered same. Right? So that is the subtle ego. When we try our experience speak for us, and we give more weightage to the rich and the varied experience that we are carrying, so it could be somewhere related to our spiritual ego, right? And another ego could be self-righteousness ego. Oh, I am right, you are wrong. It's all right, you have this opinion, but mine has the more weightage. And you see this happening in most of the talk shows, which we see on the television, or on the news channels. Most of the talk shows are based up on the energy of self-righteousness. One party wants to say, oh, what we are doing is really right, and the other one really wants to put them down and says, no, what we say has to be given more weightage. And another one is blame ego. We try to put blame, on each other and say that, whatever is happening is because of you. So whatever is happening because of, let's say, this coronavirus, most of the governments that are dominating right now, they have been given the blame. Your policies are such that you're not able to handle it, and you should have done it before. Why are you not able to, you know why is your party not proactive? Why couldn't you see something well in advance? So all this is a play of an ego. And not all ego is bad, as I mentioned. There is something called positive ego, and the real job of the positive ego is to actually nudge you. It's actually to usher you towards your deeper truth. So for example, if we talk about the journey of a soul, uh, if somebody wants to have a lesson of patience, let's say, because in every birth we bring up, some lesson that we want to master. And once we master that lesson, there is another mission that we carry, right? So learning a lesson is not just the only mission. That's only one part of our work or our life. There is another mission. And that mission says, once you have learned your lesson, how are you using it for the greater whole? How are you serving the world? So there is one mission, mission one, which is your own personal learning. And there is a mission two, which is about serving with that personal learning to the greater whole. Right? And that is how we feed into, the universal force. Now, for example, somebody carries a lesson of patience. Right? They have to learn a lesson of patience in this lifetime. So it is quite likely, since from their childhood, they will begin to, cater those incidents wherein they were treated impatiently. Right? For example, they will have parents who were very nagging, and they were impatient, and they said, oh, you're good for nothing, and they reacted to the person. So how does that make an impact on this person? First, the initial thing is going to be that even the person turns impatient. Then the person is, oh, this is how my parents have taught me, this is how they reacted to the entire situation, and this is how I should do. And the way they have treated me, I treat the same, not only to them, but to the whole world. Many of us, since Many of us, we speak about Adolf Hitler, and we sometimes don't speak good words about him. Many of us, we feel, oh, he's not contributed really well. But have we ever thought what happened to him in his childhood? What made him the way he was? Right? If we try to understand that, I'm sure, dear friends, your heart will expand for him. Right? You'll be able to understand what was he trying to do. He was just trying to act out his inner anger, which he had absorbed in his childhood days. And same way, we all try to operate from that hurt while we are, growing in our journey. And then once we have actually become impatient with our ways, with our own self, with people around, with society, in every ways, then comes the real hit of the spirits. Initially the spirit is going to come and say, hey, my dear friend, you need to learn the lesson of, patience, so better change your ways. You ignore the call, and then the call of spirit is going to be, my dear friend, you have to learn the lesson of patience. Please be patient with people, or try to change your ways, the way you act in the world. And the final call is going to be, my dear friends, it's going to be a jolt. And then that jolt comes to you in the form of, let's say, an illness. The jolt comes to you, let's say you lose something, be it in the material world, or you lose your loved one. And that is where many of us begin our journey. Right? So if you see broadly, it is about coming into the ego and then rising out from that ego by understanding that there is some bit of it which has a positive ego, because it is trying to nudge you towards your deeper truth. If you all try to see, look into your own life, what you are today is not because of what good happened in your life. It's because of what bad or what challenging situation happened in your life. I'm sure you can see that, right? Because the challenging situation really feeds in your evolution. And since our goal is to evolve, only by taking the test of our enlightenment, we can, you know, walk with grace on this journey of life. Right? So, uh, positive ego, but we must be able to identify it. If we are not meditating, we will not carry that enough awareness to identify that yes, ego exists in us. Otherwise we will always be in the denial mode, and we would say, oh, I am purely divine, I don't have a bit of ego. There is nobody in the world who cannot have ego. You have ego because it is needed for your own physical self. But at the same time, major part of us, we can stay in the higher mind rather than being in the lower mind. Right? So, how to identify ego? And so, what are the ways to work on this ego? As we spoke about this, uh, how can we work on it? We spoke about these identifications through these various phases: pleaser, judgment, all this. How can we work on the ego? The first thing is the gift of awareness. Always try to chop your ego with awareness. You always have it. For example, you get into a company of people wherein you see you are little better than the others, and you swell up with pride, let's say. Chop it off. Chop it and say, no, I am equal to others. Usually the ego voice says, I am the best. And many of us unconsciously we use this statement. We say, oh, I am the best. You are not the best. You are best like everyone else. That is the complete truth. The higher mind tells you that you are divine the way everybody else is. But the lower mind says, only I am divine, or I am the best. So we try to utilize our awareness to see divinity in everybody, right? And that is how we chop off our ego, right? The second thing which we can do to, chop off our ego, or to, let go of our ego, is to say sorry. Be open to say sorry, right? When we commit a mistake, when we do something wrong, we say sorry very humbly. It's okay to say sorry, right? And when we say sorry, know that it's not that we are being, we are losing our respect. It's not about that. It's actually, telling us that the peace is more important than just standing with the justice. Because at the end of the day, we all are seeking peace more than the justice. Okay? And once we begin to, follow the peace, the justice will come on its own. Then we don't have to worry for the justice. It will come, because the universe has been designed in such a way that there can be no unfair practices. There can be no injustice ever. And the next one which we can do is to have deep listening. For example, how much are you able to hold a space for somebody who wants to speak? Are we presenting ourselves unconditionally to our parents, our family members? Are we offering them the gift of deep listening? Because only when we are ready to listen, we are actually bringing our aham, our, lower mind down, our ego down. Because when we listen to something, something moves within us also. So listening does not mean just being around and listening. It means deep listening. And deep listening means being with that person completely, physically, mentally, emotionally, and then listening to, the person completely, right? And so if you have any questions, if you wish to ask anything, dear friends, you're most welcome to write it in the comment section, right? Because that will really help us all to, have, direct the energy of the, the entire session in the right direction. Right? And then we have a meditation. Maybe you want to share something.
Yeah. So every spiritual path help us to dissolve and drop and let go of our ego which is within us. So it is a journey. So it is a journey of ego to non-ego. And if we uh, tell you about more identities that we have with ego, we all know about the 7 chakras that we have, the 7 energy centers that we have. So every center, it's like knowing the ego. Every center has some ego which is inside us. And we need to let go of this ego to become oneness with the source. So first is the Mooladhara. So Mooladhara is root chakra, and the identity is physical identity. So our focus is outside, the external beauty that we have. So our focus in always on money, like food, shelter. So always outside. And the statements that we have when we are in this physical identity is that I want to have money more than you, right? So it is an ego that is speaking within us. And the second statement could be, I need to have more than you. So we are operating from the physical identity. So that's the first, these are the two statements when ego is working through us. And second, if we move ahead from the Mooladhara to Swadhisthana, is the sacral chakra, we can say. And this chakra is, we are identified with the emotions. So emotions like, which is not good. We are entangled with our emotions like fear, jealousy, hatred, greed. So that is emotional identity. And the statements that we have in these identities are, first is emotions are bad, right? We don't have to emote our emotions. We can't cry. So we feel crying is bad. Emotional people are bad. They are weak. So all these statements are coming from the ego because we identify with the emotions and we don't embrace emotions. We don't see emotions with awareness. So, and then we come to the third part is the third identity is the power, solar plexus, right? Manipura chakra. So we identify with the power. If we see the mythology, the Ravana is the exact example of power identity because Ravana is identified with the power that he has. He was such an intelligent person, but he utilizes his power in a wrong direction. He identified with the power. So the statement is, I am powerful than you. So he was working through the ego that I am powerful than you from the Rama. And second is, you are a failure in your life. You can't do anything. You are a failure. So if we are repeating or if we are doing this statement, it means we are in our ego. We are clingy to our power. We are clingy to the power that we want to have in our life. So that is the ego which is playing in us. And then we move to the next chakra, which is called Anahata chakra, the heart chakra. And this chakra is related to the love, the relationship, the connection that we have. And in this chakra, the ego plays, the statement is, my pain or suffering that you, for example, that my pain is bigger than you. You know, you don't understand my pain, what I am going through. So it is the ego which is operating. And I want to share before the Anahata chakra, like 3 chakras, we see the ego very gross level ego. But when we enter the Anahata till the Sahasrara chakra, these egos are very subtle, very subtle. So we think that we are a spiritual person now, our heart is open, but still we are operating through ego. So that is that my pain is bigger than you, right? And then we move to the next is Vishuddhi, the throat chakra. And here the identity is with the creativeness, with creativity, or with the expression, because we feel what we create is the best. You know, we feel the statement is, I am more spiritual than you, right? We feel that whatever we are following, the meditation or the guru is the best. We need to follow the same guru. Whatever we are doing is the right thing. We don't need to follow the other gurus. The best part that I learned from Patriji is he gives everybody, every master to share their wisdom. And he's so open to learn from everybody. So from every masters, whether it is from Hinduism or Christianity or Muslim, everything, he's open to that. And I have never seen any master which is open to every master and learn from everybody. So that's the best part, that shows that he is operating from non-ego. He's not an egoistic person, because every spiritual master is clinging because they want their seekers to be with them. They don't want to lose them. They don't want to tell them that go and just search your answers. So that is the throat chakra. We feel that we are, whatever we are doing, we are more spiritual than you. These all are the ego statements. And then we move to the third eye, the Agya chakra. And here the ego is connected to the, because we feel that here we realize that I am God, right? We understand that I am the creator. And in this, the how the ego plays is, we feel that, my spiritual philosophy is better than you, right? And our and the second is, only my perspectives are the best. Whatever I think is best for everyone. So that's how the ego operates when we are very subtle in nature. And then comes the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. And here it is like oneness, because we are one with the creator. Here we realize that we are the creator, but here we realize everything is God. This is God, that is God, everything, every person is just like me, just like God. But here the ego operates in us is that I am more divine than you. You are arrogant people. You don't know. You are ignorant. You don't know anything, because I am more spiritual than you, more divine than you. So that's the ego that works through all these chakras. We have positive soul gifts also in this energy centers, but we need to work on our ego self also, ego behavior, the characteristics that we have in all these chakras, the energy centers. So we need to work. If we are identifying with any of these statements, it means the ego is operating. We need to work on these ego by all these things, by meditation, with awareness, with deep listening, listening to your own thoughts, your own, your body is so intelligent. That speaks to you regarding what is happening inside you. So all these things we can work on these
So far I,
identities.
yeah, sorry. So far I spoke to you about three ways of working on your ego. First is your awareness. You chop it with your awareness. Second is your listening. The third one is chop off your awareness. Second, your listening. Humility. Say sorry, right? And the fourth one I want to add is selfless service. Okay? Because when we are open to serve someone, we realize that our ego begins to mellow, right? It begins to sit down, which is why we say selfless service, not expecting anything in return, right? And that gets us into the zone of the higher mind than the lower mind. Okay. So there is this one question Tirupati has mentioned. So far in my life, I have been listening others then speak. I'm not able ask speak, just following why. And another is we did mistakes in past life. Why are we suffering now without knowing that mistakes have done? And why not rectify at that time? So, dear friend, the first thing which I wanted to tell you is there are no mistakes. Right? If you think that you've done mistakes, you are here because of your mistakes and you are being punished. No, it's not like that. See, what you believe in becomes your reality. So, if you think that your karma is a punishment, it's coming as a consequence of the mistakes that you have done, then it is like that. But what if I tell you that karma is a teacher which is here to help you evolve from one level to another? The entire understanding of it will change everything for our life. And see, this whole process is something, our evolution is something that, the moment we leave the body, we are reminded of everything, and then we are there in our real home. We are reminded, oh, I was supposed to do this, I was supposed to do that. And immediately, we write in that reminding state, we write everything, we write our script. But what happens is when we begin to come down, since there is a zone of ego, there is a zone of Maya and illusion, we begin to forget. Now, it's not that it is simply happening to you, it's happening to everybody. It happened to me, it happened to you, it happens to all the avatars, right? But the only thing is, they utilize this life to no more. The basic energy which turns a person into a self-realized person is their sheer curiosity. Only when you're curious, you can explore different realms of your own self. So I would just say that your question shows that you are an immensely curious person, my dear friend, and continue with this curiosity. It's a good thing, right? But keeping that there are no mistakes, you are not being punished for your mistakes. The answers will come if you stick to your own journey of turning within, meditating, and finding your answers. It'll come. Right? That's how it is. And Kavita says, can you explain the thin line between ego and self-confidence? How do you draw a line between, okay, ego says me. Ego says win or lose. Self-confidence says we. And it says win, win. That's the difference. So ego at times what tries to do is it disrespects the divinity of the other person. Like most of us disrespected the divinity of somebody who did really nasty things to the world. I don't second what he did. Maybe he has done wrong, but it is the same force that is working in you and I is working in them. So he deserves that amount of respect from each one of us. When we are able to stay with that respect and yet move with our way of taking a conscious decision, that is what the self confidence is, right? Which means you don't lose the respect for the other person, yet stay loving to the other person, and yet follow what you've been guided by your higher mind to do. That is what the self confidence is. And ego is something wherein you say, oh, I, me, myself, only my truth will work, and this is how it is. These people are looters, cheaters, and they should be taught a lesson. That's the difference. That's the thin line. If elder or younger than me, I am just following their. Just a minute. Okay. Thank you, sir. The other question is why in present life I am listening mode, not speaking mode. So, dear friend, just simply ask this question to yourself. Say that why have I, what worst can happen? The question for you is what worst can happen if I speak? What worst can happen if I speak? The moment you ask this question, you will be told all those possibilities which may be your fear. They're speaking about your fear. For example, if you speak your truth or if you speak, maybe you will be criticized, maybe you will be punished, and maybe it is that you were punished for speaking your truth in the past, and which is why this lifetime we've chosen not to speak. But this does not mean that we continue with this pattern. We are here to transcend it because learning always happens. The transcendence always happens when we transcend the fear, right? So that's what our whole, process is. We move from the fear to the love-based zone.
Just wanted to add into this, if you feel that was a past life that you were in that mode where you were speaking, and in this present life you're not speaking, just remind yourself that past is over now. So you can choose now a different reality for you, and you can say that past is over, now I can speak my truth. It's okay for me to speak my truth, and remind yourself and again, and you can start speaking your truth with love also. So you don't need to fear about it.
Knowing the past does not matter. It's okay to know it, but in case you are not able to know it, don't be craving for it, because it has to open in the moment when it is right for you, right? Otherwise it's not needed, right? You have all the learning is in now, change is in now, right? Here in the physical world there could be three segments to time, which is past, present, and future. But in the higher mind, the past, present, and future merges into now. Okay, so if you make a choice now, it shifts your past, it shifts your future automatically. Right? Such is the power of now. So Priya says, how do we tackle an egoistic person who can be in an organization or relations? So Priya, most of the people that we encounter in our life, they are reflections, right? They are mirrors. So for example, the person whom you see as egoistic, this person is reflecting something to you. It tells you your own subtle nature, right? Not that I say that you are egoistic. It simply means that that particular character of the person which triggers you the most is what maybe you are judgmental about. One thing. Second, maybe you also have it, right? So try to check which one works for you. So for example, if I say to Shubhangi, oh, you never understand me. So I need to check it at two dimensions. First dimension is, do I understand all the time? Right? The second thing is, am I too judgmental about people who don't understand? Right? These two questions. If you try to answer these two questions, you will get the area where is that you have to work on. First thing is that. And the second thing is, once you have figured that out, that it is the reflection of your own self, just let go of it. Say that this time I will not get triggered by what this egoistic person does to me. I will simply smile. I will say thank you. And I will use a different technique this time, right? And see what happens. Only when you shift your vibration, you will never send that vibration to the other person, so that, something new will come back. If you send something new, the new will come back. Okay. So always remembering that we are reflection to each other, right? We are mirrors. Our life around is a mirror. So great, friends. What we can do now to let's meditate. Yeah.
Hitesh, I see one of our friends with the hand raised. Probably he wants to ask a question.
Yes, sure.
Sudhakar Rao, Sudhakar Rao ji, I'm unmuting you.
Hello.
Yes, Sudhakar ji.
Yeah. Good evening to all. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. Yeah, I'm mated for past 7 years. After starting 1 year, I married to a girl. She is also a well matured girl, like 26 years. She did MCA and working. I quit the non-veg. She is not quit, but that is not my condition. She did not yet quit. I had just informed her to try once, but if she likes, she will do later. But she is continuing. This is a part that is one kind of issue actually, but it's not that much. That is her issue, not my issue. And she is whatever she grown up so far at her parents. Say she's in the same way, and she's telling that that is the correct way, but she don't know how to cook, how to take care of kids, making my kids very dirty. This is almost 7 years, but if it is not me, it's well knowledge, she will be very in horrible position. I am taking care of her very much, and I used to explain her well. So far, good. I quit so few things to tell her. I don't know when she will change, but her voice is very hard and no humble in her words, no lovely speech with kids. But she's good.
Yes.
uh,
Yeah.
My parents had stayed at home. She cannot stay with my parents even for a 2 day. She never quarrel with them. She never listen their words. That's it. They will not tell bad things. She don't have neatness and well cooked. but I'm very patient. So
Yes,
she,
yes. So that's what your learning is,
yeah.
and there is this big rule, big law in the spirit world, and that law says that people whom we feel they are worst of the people in my life in the earthly realm, they are actually best of your friends in the spirit world, right? Because
Okay.
it's through them you are learning. What is she trying to do by staying in her own zone? I won't say that she is bad, because what she is doing is she is doing right from her perspective, and reality is nothing, it's a game of perspective. You are trying to see through your perspective, she's trying to see from her own perspective. If you ask her, maybe she'll say the same things to you about you. The only thing is, we are working through our own perspective, and through her perspective, she's just trying to, help you brush up your own lessons. And the reason you just said that you are very patient, you've grown patience, so it's a gift from her.
Yeah.
So we embrace this gift. At the same time, we stay patient to them, right? If it is her journey, let her do her own journey. We stay loving and respectful to her, right? Because that
But
is
my kids are getting very dirty. But,
right. So she is also maybe, encouraging you to be more independent, take charge of your own life. What you
yeah,
find dirty, you clean it.
yes, I'm doing that. Till I used to do.
I think she
When
is.
my home time after my office, I do house clean, kids clean, everything. I used to clarify the things.
Very good, very
But
good.
she will just see. Sometimes she will say, "Don't do." I will do after some time. Then she forgets, like that.
So in a way, she is ascending you. She's growing you. Good job.
So okay, but my parents hurted too much.
Right. So,
She will not replay. She will not do what they say.
mm,
So one thing is better that she will not quarrel with. That's it.
right. Still have respect for her.
I
Have respect for her.
okay.
Have respect for both your parents. Because if you also go out of alignment, then four people out of alignment. It's going to be
Okay.
a hot soup, right? If we want to save this situation, we stay in the zone of alignment. And there are many examples wherein people in meditation, they have sent love energy to these people whom they are not sharing the cordial relationship. These people have changed, and there are many success stories. So to do that, what is needed is, first, you let go of your judgments towards her, which means you feel that she's doing this thing, that thing, you let go of that, right? It's okay if she's doing, right? It's her life, she can take care of it. You take care of your side. Second thing is, we stay in respect. It means that she also is a version of divine. There is some version of divine that is working in her, and my version can be different from her, yet we are same. And third, forgive her.
Yeah, surely.
Forgive her.
Mm.
Fourth, we send her love. We just say that, uh, may all good things come to you. We just say that. May divine bless you. We just say that. And the more we do that, see what happens. The energy is going to shift on its own, right? And only through expanding your heart, we heal the other person.
She's very sportive mind. She was a hockey player in the college and very sportive mind. No lovely word will come from mouth. And always if any word comes from our mouth, that will come as a ball, reflection like a bumper.
It's okay. Great. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank
friends, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hitesh, we have Sahir. I will unmute him. He
Yes.
has a
Sure.
question. Yes, Sahir.
Hello, hello, beautiful souls.
Hi.
Um,
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm really amazed about the topic today. I I was really mesmerized listening to you, because I consider it one of the not the most important challenges, but the most important thing in life, because I think our lives are only the battle between us and us or our ego. But you made me now realize that when we realize that we are fighting or trying to get rid of our egos, multiple egos, as you mentioned right now, the seven ones, or maybe hundreds of them, we
Yes.
are on the right path, because many people don't realize even that they have this ego. But I want to thank you for just the answer that you just answered right now. Forgive her.
Thank you.
It
Thank you.
takes a lot of courage, power,
Thank you.
and to forgive someone, or to forgive ourselves, or to forgive the people. That's the highest form of not being with the ego. But I know, like you were saying right now, it's not an easy process. It's ongoing process until we die, because it's not something we get rid of then it goes away. No, it's with us all the time.
Yes.
So like the Chinese symbol of yin and yang, we are all moving with it all the time, trying to get rid of it. So the other thing I want to thank you about is dividing it into, or relating it to the chakras, which really gave me a beautiful, if I may say, easy tool
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
detect it. Because I always say I must not have ego and so on, but the details or the process is not there apart from meditation and be kind and so on, just general thing. But you just put it apart into seven pieces with the seven chakras, so it's easy, or it's not easy, but you made it easier for me now and for everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank Madhu and Ram for hosting you, and also thank them for putting it on YouTube. I will keep listening to it every day to remind myself of yourselves and the ego. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. So let us now continue with meditation. We'll do a small meditation to assimilate what we've just understood about ego. So find your comfortable place, dear friends, and just close your eyes. And if you are ready, just mention yes in the comment section so that we begin. Perfect. So just close your eyes and taking three long deep breaths, breathing in from your nose, holding it for a while, and breathe out from your mouth. One more time, breathing in, filling up the air in your lungs, and breathing out. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. And now come back to your normal, natural breath. The way your breath comes in and the way your breath goes out. Stay with your breath. And while you are carrying your attention on your normal, natural breath, you remind yourself, I am ready to travel through the layers of my lower mind and enter in the realms of my higher mind. And while you pass this intention, you will notice a sense of calmness, a sense of stillness will begin to grow in your body. Connecting to this physical body, your Annamaya Kosha, which which survives on food, water, and all the materialistic needs. And at this plane, I ask this question. When I connect to this physical body, I ask, who am I? Who am I? And while you stay with your breath, let the insights come. When you are connected to this body, what are the answers that are showing up? And as I stay in the awareness, I move further into the realm of my mind, my mental body, the lower mind, where I'm identified with my own thoughts, my own ideas, my own self-limiting beliefs. And in this mind, I ask this question again, who am I? All the attachment that I carry to my mental body, I drop it here and now. And I allow myself to journey further, deeper, deeper within my own self. And I reach to the emotional body, a body that is connected to my emotions, all those love-based and fear-based emotions. And in this body, I ask this question again, who am I? Taking a deep breath and dropping this emotional body as well. Just move ahead. Moving beyond your physical, mental, emotional bodies. Getting into your energy body. It stays on the energy. And this energy is dependent on the kind of beliefs and patterns that we've brought forward from our past. We keep dropping these layers, which are separating us from the real truth. And we move into deep, 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 dark space of stillness where we've come from, as if we are journeying back to the source, back to the womb, the cosmic womb that we've come from. I am not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the emotions, I am not my past. I move ahead. Therein, I also drop this layer of all the projection that I carry for myself, for future. I am not my future. And when I drop this layer also, while I journey even further, I simply ask this question: who am I? Who am I? And as we are moving closer to the truth, to our real identity, we are growing that stillness in our own self. Dropping our subconscious mind completely, dropping our conscious mind completely. And now entering into the zone of superconscious, wherein everything is one. There is no you and I, there is everything as we, as all that is. And we move into that zone where we have come from. This source, this creator that we are one with. And in this zone, we ask the question, who am I? Keep asking this question, who am I? Because as you ask this question, the insights are going to come right from the higher mind, the mind that is the mind of the source. All the identities, all the attachments have been dropped layer by layer, as if we are taking over, taking off the layers of the clothes that we were wearing. What we are now is pure consciousness. Staying in this space completely. A big zero, complete zone of nothingness. This is the space that we've come from. This is our point of origin. We all are nothing, yet everything. Last 2 minutes. Spending this time in the space of pure zero, that complete zero field. our place of origin, and our place of destination, our real home. And at this moment, all the realization about the truth that you are having, give yourself the permission to bring it with you in your conscious awareness, which means it travels from the superconscious into your subconscious and then in your conscious. And with this insight, you also bring in the awareness to operate from this truth in your life. When we operate from this truth, negative ego loses its control on us. Slowly and gently beginning to come back into the layers, remembering that this time when you bring this truth with you, that who are you, you don't have to forget it, because all the power to remember it has also come along. And let this truth settle in your heart center. I am divine, and so is everyone else. I have a unique fragrance, and so is everyone else. Taking 3 long deep breaths, breathing in from your nose, holding it for a while, and breathe out from your mouth. Just allowing yourself to ground, completely ground with this deep inhale and exhale. Coming back here with this sense of fulfillment and gratitude for this whole journey that you've done all the way to the source to realize who I am. Fully grounding yourself in the physical body, knowing that this physical body, this mental body, this emotional body, all these bodies are the divine expressions. They are here to support your journey, then to derail you or to deviate you from your path. You now know the beauty behind all this. They are here to evolve you. And with this deep gratitude, we rub our palms and we keep our palms on our eyes for 5 seconds. Gently remove our hands, open our eyes with a smile. Make this smile beautiful. Welcome back, friends. So once you are back, maybe you can write yes in the comment section. That's beautiful. Wonderful. Let's clap for our own self. Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. Great, dear friends. Wonderful. So, if any of you would like to share maybe one experience, I can read so many experiences, but that's really good. That's wonderful. Can read that. Yes, I guess Madhu and Ram would be able to share that if we are recording this session because yes,
Yes,
they are
yes,
recording.
Hitesh. Yeah, we are recording it. It is there already in the YouTube. Yeah, it's
Okay.
going live. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
wonderful.
Yeah,
So that's really
I would
great. Yeah.
I would like to share my experience.
Yes.
So
Yes.
all the session was really beautiful, wonderful. And as you started the meditation session, I had been hearing your voice, and then your voice was almost absent, but there was only one word that was strongly repeating: "We are one, we are one."
Yeah.
It was your voice saying the same thing. Nothing else was there all through the session for me till you say, "Open your eyes." So, very unique experience. Really, thank you. Thank you.
Great. Great. Thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing.
Wow. Great.
yeah,
Excellent.
and for me also, Hitesh and Shubhangi, I didn't want to end the session. The meditation was wonderful. And the way you guys explained it, the simple things which we need to implement in our life, which we forget sometimes. Yes, what you have said, the spiritual ego, that is very important. That is because lately I've been experiencing it, and like but being aware, what you said, when we are aware of that ego, it drops, the ego drops. Like for us who's been meditating, it doesn't take much time to notice that. So that was wonderful. The explanations which you have given, and Shubhangi, the 5 C's. Wow, it's amazing. It's amazing. I liked it. The combination of you both. And when I was meditating, I felt like I'm in QLU University, Quantum Life University. And I'm there sitting in front of Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi. Yeah. So the energy of theirs is within you both guys. So thank you for being here. And I really enjoyed your company.
Thank
So
you. Thank you.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
So do
Thank
we.
you.
Yes.
Likewise, we enjoyed it too. Really.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having us. Okay.
Is there anybody wants?
Yeah. So I guess.
I would like to share to our friends that, please friends, because I want to take this opportunity to share this book to everybody, that please friends, if you have not read this book, or if you don't have this book, please get this copy called Sundaram Speaks. It's amazing, and it's highly recommended by Patriji, as we all know Patriji. And luckily, when Hitesh, you have sent this copy to Patriji, I was there with Patriji, and Patriji said, okay Madhu, you just go through it. I was like, wow, like it is so amazing. It is
Yeah.
so simplified, and it is really touching. Like any person who is even not into meditation, they can, once they go through this book, they get all the information and the connections. So thank you once again. Please, yeah, friends, get this book, Sundaram Speaks. I will write in the groups, and yeah, it will be helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear friends.
Thank you, friends.
Because the session can go long and on and on,
Yeah.
but uh, I guess whatever queries a little bit that are not being answered, if you want us to answer, maybe you can email us and then we can answer, or otherwise you have Madhu and Ram to help you with that. They can definitely handle it really well. And yeah, so I think
Yes.
thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
It was really
Thank you,
wonderful.
Hitesh and Shubhangi. Last, there is one friend of ours, Pallavi, who
Yeah.
wants to share her experience.
Sure, sure.
Yes.
Namaste, Hitesh and Shubhangi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful and beautiful meditation. I actually missed part of the class because I was in another session and I did not want to come out of that also. But then when I came to you guys, I'm like, okay, I came at the right time. It was just beautiful. So during my meditation, I had a very, very, very similar experience as Ram did. I kept hearing you are me, I am you, and we are one.
Oh,
We
It
are
was
one.
not just a way. Your voice was there, but it was not there. But it just kept coming. I'm like, okay, I got the message. I have to imbibe in it now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And it felt very, very, very short. Very short. I wish it was a little bit longer for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing.
Thank you so much. Okay.
thank you, Hitesh, and thank you,
Thank you.
Shubhangi.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Madhu and Ram. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you both.
you. Thank you both. And we
Thank you,
want to see
everybody.
you. We want to see you next time in Germany.
Yes,
Yes,
so be
so
In the
Yes.
it.
physical, so be it.
Now
Yes,
we
so
need to
be it.
see you.
Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Bye.
you.
See you
Thank
Yeah.
next.
you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
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 Bye. Friends, yeah. A quick announcement for tomorrow. Um, tomorrow, just a moment. Let me just get that details. Okay. So tomorrow we have Dr. Yugandhar, a wonderful master. He had been meditating since years, and um, he's a doctor by profession. And then he went into, I mean, let's say he connected into spirituality, and he had met various masters all through his life. He had been to Himalayas in order to realize the truth. So he's a wonderful master. He had started his own, let's say, foundation, which is called the World United, through which he's sharing the spiritual knowledge and uh, the spiritual truth. And he believes in this connectedness of the world, where we can realize a greater, or we can realize our greater inner truth. So he would be joining us. He will be speaking about the Tao of transformation. So this would not be through our regular um, channel, which we are now connecting, or let's say on our Zoom, because we would be hearing him on his YouTube channel. So I would be sharing these details in the group, and also the timings. If they are a bit different timings than our usual one, probably it's 11:30 a.m. Uh, German time, or 3 p.m. Indian time. So 11:30 a.m. German or Cairo time. So I will be sharing this link. So whoever are interested, you can join it on the YouTube. Most probably, I would be receiving also his Zoom ID. So I will also share that as soon as I get that. Okay. So don't miss this opportunity, and another wonderful master to hear tomorrow. So thank you. And all these recordings are available on the YouTube channel, Beam Meditation. So please do go to the channel. So enjoy the talks that are there of various masters we had been posting or even meditation music that are there. So thank you, friends, for joining. Hope you all had got some interesting information today, wonderful things to work upon, reflect upon. So take time, digest them, and then shine. So have a nice evening, have a nice day, or good night for people joining from India. So thank you. Namaste.